Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be going over one of my favorite series that we've done for CK Productions, and we're going to go in and we're going to do some VFX breakdowns for some of the shots that we did for the Punch-Out Logic series that we did over the past 5 years. The Punch-Out series is unique because it's all done on green screen and it's all done with one character, obviously. But it's done in a way where it's not supposed to be sort of realistic type of green screen. It's very sort of in that comic booky type of video gamey type of way, sort of kind of like a Scott Pilgrim sort of look or something like that, where it's not supposed to look realistic. It's supposed to kind of look like a fantasy or something like that. So I wanted to go ahead and break down, talk about all the elements that are in the scenes and how we shot them and how you could possibly do something similar on your own. So let's dive in. I'm going to be focusing mostly on the videos that are a little bit more recent because they use more recent effects and they're a little bit more polished and done with, better cameras and stuff. So let's dive in right now. Okay, first I'm going to go over this first scene that we see in Punch-Out Logic in Real Life 4. This is the one scene kind of in the whole series where it doesn't always take place in the actual fighting stadium itself. This is in Little Mac's sort of pseudo training room. And there's a couple things I like about the scene. First of all, the transition here, done from the title scene to the actual, shot itself. The title scene here, it's done with some lighting effects in the background, obviously the title and everything. And then we have a 3D animated punching bag. We have a 3D animated punching bag going across the screen and then hitting the screen and then shattering it as a transition here. That 3D punching bag is used with Video Copilot's Element 3D plugin. It's animated to go across the screen. When it hits a part where it covers the whole screen, it just cuts to the shatter effect done on the pre-comp of the title itself. And I probably honestly just copied it from an earlier video. So yeah, and that's just the regular shatter effect in After Effects done with some motion blur and whatnot. And then we're going into the scene here. Obviously we have the green screenshot of Joe. Technically it's a blue screenshot of Joe because he has his green punching bags here, green boxing gloves here. I said punching bags before. That was weird. So he's doing his punches on the blue screen there and cut him out, put him in the scene here. And this shot in the background is a shot of an open gym gotten from one of those stock footage sites. I think this one was called Dreamstime or whatever. Obviously, if you want to go on, you can probably find high quality photos on Google and such like that. However, it's better practice, especially if you're working with actual clients, to go through more stock photo websites. You don't always want to be stealing people's pictures all the time. I know people do it on YouTube all the time. We're trying to get more in the habit of getting more high quality stuff from stock sites like this and Shutterstock and Dreamtime and Pond5 and stuff like that. It's probably like a 6K or 5K picture, so we're able to scale it up a little bit. In the background here, we've got a lot of sort of fog effects. So that's a mixture of, Action Essentials sort of atmospheric effects put in there. That's fractal noises, blurred a bit. The coolest kind of part about this here is the light rays here on the window. This is a kind of a specific Video Copilot tutorial that they have on their website where you can make these light rays coming from an object here. It just makes it look good. If you look and see, there's a little bit more lighting on his left side here, and that kind of works well with the window. Sort of the last step always done with our green screen effects. We didn't used to do this, but we always do this now. We do a light wrap around the character here. And the light wrap around the character here, it just helps blend them into the scene a little bit more. It takes like the color and the light and the elements from the background scene and applies it sort of to the edge of the character here and creating sort of an all over color correction over everything so the colors blend as well. All right, ding ding. Okay, so this effect here, when Little Mac is punched in the face, he brings his head back and he flings it back forward, and then we're into the arena here. This is more of kind of an editing trick rather than more of a VFX breakdown here. Above all, first we have obviously the green screen shot of him, and this is one of those green screen shots that we shot in 60 frames per second because we wanted to do that, kind of super slow-mo. Heads flying back in 60 frames per second, slowed down, and then we do a speed ramp. We go from whatever, I think probably like 40% slowed down it is back here to ramp it up to maybe like 200% and then back to 100% basically. to make the effect work here, to add a little bit of exaggeration when the head pops up. A couple of other elements in the scene, we have obviously the pickup here of the punch that Doc Lewis is doing. What we do for the punches normally is we have a 1 minute or 2 minute shot of Joe or whoever just throwing punches at the screen at a bunch of different angles. Hi, what are you doing? You have to be in it now. Yep, you have to be in it now. We do a bunch of punches at the screen like this. And obviously in the composition you would line it up so it's lining up with his face here. What we always do when Little Mac gets hit, we always do the sort of the purple glow that kind of represents what happens in the game. And you know, because it's sort of a video game reference, I usually do kind of the pixelated digital effect here, which is Mosaic in After Effects. And a combination of those, plus maybe some glows, the opacity of those effects going in and out to make flashes. And for the transition here, what we kind of see is things start to brighten up a little bit, helping it kind of turn into the much brighter background of the arena. It's always good when you're doing effects like this to have the transition happen on sort of a snap type of effect. I'm gonna be going over this more in some more shots, but obviously, so background here for all of the arena shots is the same picture, I think from kind of the same stock photo website that we used before. One large picture, it's probably like 6 or 8K that will zoom in and position in many different directions depending on, you know, if it's a close-up or if it's a wide shot or whatever side of the ring. Very important for a shot like this. We're gonna wanna make the background very out of focus to simulate depth of field, kind of like an 85mm shot.
What a fantastic fight from Little Mac!
Okay, so real quick, like since this happens in all of the Punch-Out Logic videos, for Tim and Tom here, the announcers, what we'll do is normally we'll have all the lines written out beforehand. Then what will happen is Joe will go in front of the green screen and do all of Tim's lines for the entire video, and he'll do all of Tom's lines for the entire video. And what'll happen is for each scene, he will go and he'll read Tim's lines, and I or someone off the camera will read Tom's lines, and that kind of helps with the timing of things. Doesn't always time out as well, just because I read stuff different than he does. And what'll happen to line up their lines a bit more is I might have to slow down a portion of someone's movement. Maybe like if they're like turning their head and listening, I'll just have them move a little slower. Or if they're just kind of sitting there waiting, I'll like loop the same like video over again. And it's usually subtle enough that you don't really notice. But honestly, now that I've told you guys and you go back, you're probably going to notice it a little bit more. Just a fun little tidbit here. So for the punch here, there's a couple of different things that happen in the shot. So obviously we have another one of those, you know, clips that we have I keep saying punching bag, the boxing glove going in front of blue screen there. We'll comp that in, we'll line it up with Glass Joe's face here. The punch happens so fast, so it's good to show a lot of different things happening here. So we'll see sort of a lot of different effects happening here. We have obviously the optical flares, the video clip of the optical flares happening here. Big lens flare, it's green because it's Little Mac. Of course, we've got a radial blur here, which sort of, you know, centers it's kind of showing the center of power here on the impact. It helps sell the impact. We've got little particles flying out here, and it might be just a couple like, you know, particles in particular, or particle whirl or something added in there. Big glow overall. Again, the kind of the split second you saw sort of pixelation on the character getting hit. I don't know if you can hear in the background, Mooney's playing with a cap back there. Obviously, to top it off, you got to do the French baguettes around the head, because, you know, that's what they do in Punch Out. They do a lot of those sort of, they pick an item or something that has to do with the character, and they have it spin around their head when they get knocked out. It's really funny. There's the ads again. Like I said last time, I mean, they're important, so you should watch them and help us out. Let's look at the montage here of him fighting the different fighters, because there's a bunch of different effects going on for this part too. So really funny, so we're kind of looking back. He's facing a bunch of the fighters that we had in like previous videos. We go in and it's a mixture of, we have the star effect happening for a lot of these. So the star effect is sort of star tool that you can do in After Effects, where you can make a shape layer that's in the shape of a star, and you do it where there's no fill and it's only strokes. And basically all you do is you kind of put that onto the part where it's being punched, and it's just a simple scale up effect. And if you put motion blur on that, you make it glow, you put it on, you know, screen transfer mode. It just looks really nice and it blends very well. And obviously every time, you know, there's a punch, we do the same optical flare, glow, radial blur. What's kind of nice though is because we use those shots, there's so many punches and so many shots where he's punching, we use that a lot. Honestly, you can just kind of copy and paste the effect over and over again. Just do kind of a little adjustments on it. And obviously kind of like the favorite part, always finding those little things that we can fly around the heads, you know, having to do with each character, the sushi, the pineapples, the roses, Canada things and everything. It's good to, you know, switch things up a bit and do sort of a fun sequence like this. So that's about it I have for the Punch Out Logic in Real Life VFX Breakdown. I know I only did one video here, but a lot of the effects that were done in this video here apply to all the rest of the videos, even the first ones and the fifth one. I'm gonna go over really quickly if you wanted to do kind of a similar video like this for yourself, doing sort of a green screen or doing something that interacts with sort of the same character. What's gonna be important to be done is you're gonna want to make sure you're visualizing every scene out, you know, beforehand, maybe even storyboard if you want to. You want to break down every scene and you want to break down every angle in your scene, and you want to make sure that you know how many different angles you need to get with each character, and you want to visually time it up in your head, especially for scenes where it's with one character interacting with himself. You're gonna want someone on set with you kind of saying the other lines. It's gonna be good for stuff like this to shoot a lot of different, you know, angles and takes of everything, because you'll have a lot of different options to work for, you know, to make the editing kind of work. So with that, that's my visual effects breakdown for the Punch Out Logic in Real Life series. If you want me to do more visual effects breakdowns or any other editing techniques and tips, kind of like this, be sure to comment down below with what you're looking for. In the future, maybe we can dive in and talk a little bit more about the actual After Effects effects used in these and actually go into the composition and break down those effects. But for now, be sure to like and subscribe. I post videos on Thursdays and Sundays, as always. If you haven't heard already, on CK Productions, we're posting 3 times a week now. So if you subscribe to that channel and this channel, you're gonna get 5 videos a week. That's pretty great in my opinion. So you really should do that. And as always, my Instagram is a thing if you want to see more of my personal projects and photography and stuff. And with that, I hope you guys have a nice week, and I'll see you for the next video. Bye, everyone.